Hi everybody, welcome to Brailsford Family Homestead. We are in the garden. I have not brought you on a garden tour, I think since May, so long overdue, but there was just so much going on here and the heat wave was ridiculous. Sorry for the road noise. And rain after rain after rain after rain. So the garden is not looking as lovely as I would like, but I want to show it to you how it really looks, because sometimes this may happen to you. You know, you're not able to get out because it is so incredibly hot, or it's raining just nonstop, or you have other life events like we have that have kind of hindered you from doing as much as you want. My garden doesn't look lovely, but some of it does. My raised bed garden is much better than the one out back. I will insert some footage of back there that we took yesterday. But it is still producing food for us, and it is still producing joy for me, which really honestly is probably just as important as the food it produces for my family. Maybe that's not it for you. Maybe you're just 100% food, but for me, my garden is a place of peace and joy and just so many things that I love about meeting with the Lord in here and bringing you along. I've got my coffee, so we'll sit down and have a little chat of some of the things that have been going on. But let's take a look at the garden. I think it's about 60 degrees, not even quite 65 yet, so it is beautiful outside. This is the reality of my back garden that has been neglected, and the heat wave and the rain made the weeds just explode. There is elderberry in there. So many weeds. A storm blew down a bunch of my tomatoes. I need to harvest. The abundance of rain seems to be also affecting them. Here is my cantaloupe. All over the place. So many weeds. I am really looking forward to eating these cantaloupe very soon. Those are some roselle hibiscus. This is where the potatoes and onions are. We have a few more onions and the potatoes to harvest. What a mess and what a difference a month makes. Here is where we mulched the elderberry, and it is holding up pretty well. I had mulched these onions really well and they were doing great, and I don't know, weeds took over. There are potatoes in here, and some of them are above ground, so we won't be able to eat them. They're green. But we're going to see how easy it is to get them out. We're going to see what we can do here. I don't have a potato fork. I have no idea if this really produced or not. Oh, it looks like I see some potatoes. I think that was the seed potato rotten there. One, and there was a tiny baby one. Oh, and look, it's already sprouting. I see one more, but it's green, so I'm not going to be eating that. Let's try another one. Oh, I see a good sized one. Look at that. Oh, awesome. You got a little, okay. Nubs on them. Looks like lots of little things, green ones. Have to dig around in here. That one's been chewed on. I see some green on the top, but this is really tough soil. I've never grown potatoes here before. But looks like we got some good ones. Oh yeah, look at that. That's awesome. This is our harvest. I'm not sure if that adequately shows how much is there. We needed to stop, but we have a few more plants to harvest in there, but we covered that with billboard tarp, hopefully to smother those weeds, and we'll do what we can. Well, I took all of the onions that I had hung up in the run recently. I don't think I took you around for that. So I have 3 feed bags full of onions right now. And I'm just cutting off the dried, what were greens, and the roots. If there's mud, I'm taking that part off, but I'm not gonna peel all the layers off right now. Maybe the ones, I have sold some, so I may clean them up a little bit more for that. But I'm just gonna, I have a barrel under here, and I'm gonna put all of these as I cut them off into one of my raised beds, just to compost. It's not full of anything yet. And just trim off the root ends like that, and it'll be good to go into the storage. Now I will show you the rest of my garden probably tomorrow, as long as there's no rain, since I already let you see the back garden today. This is a table that we put in here, which I really love, and some chairs. We're working on a wash station here in the back. It just needs the hardware cloth and the sink supported, so I'm really excited about that. The garden here looks better than the one out back. It is not quite so weedy, so I will share that with you probably tomorrow, so I can finish getting all of these onions processed. This gate is not being used right now. You can see some of my thornless blackberries have escaped, but I do love this gate. My trellis there. This grape is absolutely crazy. I should have tied it up some more. I pruned it this winter, but I think I'm gonna have to really prune it back hard. No fruit. Maybe this will be more like point of view. This is the gate I most commonly go in now. I do have 3 gates total into my garden. And you can see I'm set up there to chat with you later with my coffee. Have this table in here, and we're building that wash station. I think we showed that to you yesterday. I'm gonna show this to you in full transparency. It's a work in progress, guys. But this was here to hide some of that. I love this. I had some calibrachoa in there. They're still there, but they didn't really bloom well, and now they're getting overtaken by that coleus. But I do love this. This bed here has not been filled with soil yet, but I want to show you something. I have been filling it with cuttings and things just to get this filled. See this plant here? It started out as a volunteer in a pot, and so I planted it there. I thought it was a zucchini. It's a pumpkin, I believe. I put it in here a month ago, and it just keeps going, and I didn't even put the roots in there. So let's go this way. Here's my thyme. There is Black Beauty zucchini, Golden Delight, and 2 yellow summer squash. There's my little wasps that keep some of the pests away. They don't bother me. Clearly I need to harvest, and I didn't thin this. That's 2 plants in there. These are my asparagus. I have 1 strawberry in there. I'm gonna put a lot more, and when I take out these zucchini, I will fill that with more strawberries. I have not weeded or weed whacked. There's my rosemary, spider plant, wood chips. I just harvested these, so they're looking pretty rough, but they'll bounce back. These are Blue Lake bush beans. This is my horseradish and my zinnias and cosmos. They kind of fell down in a storm, but let me show you. I have, if you can see, I have a hog panel in there, and we are going to put some wood to prop it up. We'll pull it up, up to here or so, and it'll support those. We just haven't done it. Here's my chives, post pounder, because, why not? Lots of banana peppers. I need to pull those and can them. There is jalapenos, poblanos, habaneros. Look at this impatient my mom gave me. Isn't it beautiful? And it reminds us of a rose she has called a Dr. Van Fleet. My celery is in here and probably should be pulled or blanched. Oh, and some lamb's quarter. I have a bunch of different slicers here. Originally, I wanted to fill this with zinnia and cosmos, but I did tomatoes and probably won't do it again. It's not tall enough. But I've also had, with the rain, let me see if I can find any. I have had a big problem with blossom end rot, so I got to get rid of that. Hold on. This smells beautiful. What is this, guys? Do you know? Let's find where's the tag? I don't know. I need to find out because I need to harvest this. Lemon. It is the middle of the afternoon of the same day. I was going over the footage and realized a good portion of the tour was cut out. So I'm going to refilm it now and insert it there. Hopefully the lighting of the middle of the afternoon is not too bright. And also my neighbor is mowing. But anyway, let's take a look at the garden. Here I have some parsley and English lavender. Not doing so great. That basil has been harvested heavily and still is huge. This is a trough full of weeds and a couple strawberries. It got moved here temporarily and is still there. This is my marshmallow plant. It is going to bloom again. It kind of struggled a little bit with the heat. There is some sage, another trough with strawberries and weeds. My pineapple mint. I'm making some pineapple mint extract. I'm really excited about that. There's chamomile and Thai basil, chives, all my peppers. I think I already showed that to you in the video that didn't get cut off. This is my loofah on this side. I planted 2, but 1 died. It's going all the way over to the other side. Lots of flowers, but no fruit. Maybe because it's one plant. Very strange. Some lantana in there. There's also some alyssum, but it's getting shaded out. There's some mint. I think I already showed you all of these peppers. There's some ginger. That was lemon basil. That's where we ended off. Yes, here, lemon basil. This is a dahlia that is not blooming for some reason. Oh, but there is another one. That right there. Looks like it might be yellow. Awesome. Here is some more slicers. Definitely need to harvest a couple of those. Celery, alyssum, weeds, a coral bell, a blackberry that should be in the ground. There is some black-eyed Susans. It looks like something has come in here and eaten them. I had a chicken get in here a couple times. Lamb's ear. There's that mint oregano. Cucumbers. And there's also some sterile morning glories. The Clark's Heavenly Blue from on that side here is one of the leaves. So there's probably some cucumbers to harvest. I harvested them yesterday, but they're coming on strong. Here is more peppers, these and ginger. I believe most of these are sweet peppers, but I saw something. Yes, it looks like this is a habanero. So I'll just have to look at the labels of that. Growing lots of peppers this year. This is, I believe, a sheep nose pimento. I tried growing it last year, only got a couple. Yep, I'm really excited about trying that one. This is a newly empty bed. It had snap peas and lettuces and cabbage and things like that, and I harvested the last of the cabbage I think 2 days ago, so I need to plant something there. Grape. There is one of my August lilies. Phlox. Some weeds. Those are yellow loosestrife. They just don't have blooms on them right now. A lot more peppers. I think this one is all sweet peppers, like California Wonder and a few others. I'm really excited about that. Ooh, looky. It's about time to harvest that one. I want to get as many red ones as possible. There's gate. This is cucamelons and a cantaloupe. There's dill in there that's pretty much gone. I'll show you some of the cucamelons. This, I don't think I showed you. It's a little bit of a mess. This is comfrey and some thornless blackberries that are going to be transplanted. I need to weed whack over here. Here is the cucamelons. I harvested them yesterday or the day before. There is some mint, and that alyssum is struggling. I love this salvia. There was clematis, a white one and a purple one on each one of these. They're not doing great. I planted them last fall when I should have planted them last spring. That is another dahlia. Over there are raspberries and another thornless blackberry. I just pulled a berry off of that earlier. The goats had kind of eaten some of this down, so it's recovering, but we got a good amount of raspberries off of those, but I want to transplant them into the ground. It's yarrow and a raspberry that popped up, and my strawberries, obviously those aren't doing anything anymore, and these strawberries aren't either, and a duck got in there. And then this was lettuces. I just let that go to seed and chard, and I'm just feeding that to the birds. I love all of these August lilies, ghost lilies in the woods. This is a tiny one. I did have much bigger ones. Let's eat it. Really good. I have plans to, along that edge where you saw the raspberries and the blackberries, is to put another bed there, a shorter one, and just line that whole fence and fill it with various types of berries, whether raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, that kind of thing. And also put some out back because I want more berries. But up here, I will see them more often to pick them when they're ripe. So I want to try to make places for them up here closer to the house where I'm at all the time. I don't go out back every single day, multiple times a day, like I do here. Again, I apologize for the road noise. I live on a busy road. I love right now there's still shade here in this part of my garden, so the lighting hopefully is not bad, and you can see some pretty things behind me. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff in the garden. I expanded a lot this year, and then things just got crazy with the rain and the heat and things like that. So the weeds absolutely thrived. Not so much up here, like I said, because I'm up here all the time. I could pull a couple weeds here and there. Out back, they just exploded. It seemed to be under control for most of the part, except for the half of the elderberries that weren't mulched. But I harvested the garlic that wasn't real weedy, and that just exposed soil, and it just got overrun with weeds. I have never grown uncovered back there before. Last year was my first year gardening back there, and it was 100% on weed fabric. This year I removed some to grow directly in the ground, and it's been a lesson. But again, if the gardener's not in the garden, things will get pretty wild. And sometimes they do even when you're in the garden. But I'm I'm still pleased with what I'm getting. I weighed some of the onions that you saw me with last night. I have 2 of those bags cleaned. I have 1 more to work on today. And 2 of those bags weighed 65 pounds total. And I had previously harvested 34 pounds, plus I sold some. I have some more to sell, plus I'm guessing I probably have maybe another 40 pounds hanging up to dry in my chicken run right now. So that is a lot of onions. I'm really pleased with how well they did back there. The potatoes, I'll be honest, they were not seed potatoes, and that was probably a mistake. They were organic potatoes, but I had them. They weren't really eating quality, and I needed to plant potatoes, so I used them. I'll look at them closer, but I do think some of them have scab. They can be eaten, but they don't look pretty. And obviously can't save them for seed potatoes. And also that ground was so just hard. I didn't know if it would grow much at all. So I'm pleased with what we got, and we do have probably another 10 plants to dig up. But I will do probably some things different next year. I mean, I love to be able to harvest from buckets and barrels and all that stuff. It's really easy. But if you don't have the compost to fill those, then it's really difficult. So I may do more of a Ruth Stout method for potatoes next year. We'll see. But overall, I'm just thankful that I was able to do more in the garden. And the garden year is not over. We're just hitting August, which today is August 1st. You probably, I think we'll see this later in this week. So I will be starting the Every Bit Counts challenge. I love doing that. So I'll be preserving something every day in August and sharing it with you guys. And you know, the garden is just getting into full swing in some things. So there's a lot going to be coming out. Last year, you know, I had an injury, so many things that kept me from being able to be in the garden. And I didn't have as big of a garden either one of the gardens. So I'm happy. There's some always lessons to be learned and things to change for the next season, and also just to, you know, reevaluate the reality of my age, of my abilities, of some things that might limit me, you know, and try to think ahead of how I can continue doing these things without it being detrimental to my body, that kind of thing. So we'll see going forward. I'm not giving up gardening, that's for sure. There's other things that have been going on, and I've kind of thought, I don't know how much to share. I mean, this is YouTube, this is the internet. The vast majority of you don't know me in real life. Some of you do. But I also want to be real with you, to show you the reality of, you know, homesteading, at least for us. So maybe you can learn some things to do or not do. I don't ever want to make it look like Pinterest perfect, because it's not. But it is still always worth it. So, you know, it's been tough since last fall, just different things going on in our personal lives and in our community, and things that have been hard. You know, then we had a house fire. You know, I was having some physical struggles with my knee, which it's getting better now. I was off medication for it, and that was probably a big mistake. You know, had some struggles with some family members who had some tough things going on, trying to help them. And then my husband lost his job. I'm not going to give a lot of details about that, but that's been hard, and he has not yet found another job. So yeah, any of you have gone through that, you know, it can be a struggle, especially in the circumstances. You know, my husband is wonderful. There's no problem with us, and he is great in every way, honestly. I started working some too. You know, I've been a stay-at-home mom for our entire marriage of 17 years, but I started doing some work outside of the home, which has been challenging on my body, but you know, it's needed in this season, and it's been good. And then recently we had a tragic accident, and our goat Genesis died. If you have livestock, you have dead stock. But that's all great and dandy to say and tell people. But it's not fun to say when it's because you have dead stock. And it's something that could have possibly been prevented. It was not like they died of old age. It's not they died because you harvested them. They died because of an accident. And I don't even know if I'm going to tell you how she died because, you know, I'm sure there'll be some people who are not kind. But I'll tell you. We had our other batch of meat birds out in our back fenced-in pasture, and we had the electric poultry netting around them. That's what we do every year. We've never had any issues with that. We've had it around our pigs, and our goats have been around it before. We've at one time we contained our goats with electric wire. For a short period, we had them in an area with the electric netting without problem. But I think our Energizer was no longer hitting like it should. And when we put the chickens out there, the goats found some of the chicken feed, which we were real careful about. That's not how she died. And my goats don't get grain or anything like that, but it's like crack. I don't know. They smell it, they taste it, and they just want to go after it. And so while we were gone one day, I guess Genesis tried to get through the fence to get to the feed that was exposed where a tractor had been, but within the fencing. And she got caught in the fencing and couldn't get out. And the more she tried, the more she got entangled. And my oldest daughter found her that way. The goat belonged to my youngest daughter. Genesis was one of the first goats born on this property. She was the daughter of Opal, who died several years ago she had pneumonia. She was pregnant. Something happened and she died. So yeah, she died a terrible death. And I felt really guilty, kind of really sad for myself, for my daughter. But, you know, last fall, we had gotten rid of most of our goats. I did not want to. But it was we had made an agreement. We were not going to have animals here as just pets. You know, as a single income family. And now, my husband without a job. We really can't just have animals that are not here serving a purpose. And that will feel cruel to some people, but it's a choice that we have to make because we can't, not be able to take care of ourselves because we just keep getting adorable animals. So we had 4 goats left, and my husband had a change of heart and wanted to keep them, especially Maybelle. She was one of our first goats. There was reasons we didn't want her to just go to any home. But they're all gone now. Last week, we took the last 3 to their new home. I felt it was from the Lord. I was just praying about what to do and felt to ask a certain person if they would be interested in them. And they were. And it's going to be a great home. They will have a lot of people to love on them. There is some young children who are already adoring them, and they're close by. So we have the opportunity to see them if we would like to. My kids were okay with it. They know the people, they know the place. They can easily go see them. So that's been a big change here. That's kind of when I woke up the next day and went out to do chores, my property felt so empty. I mean, there was only 3 goats left. I mean, they're Nigerian dwarfs. It's not like they take up a ton of room. But we've had goats for a little over 5 years. And there was all kinds of hopes and dreams and plans that came with those goats, you know, whether it was us having milk, my kids showing them in 4-H, just the joy that they brought me. You know, I think bonded to some of them more than others because I milked them, and so if anybody who has a dairy animal will understand that. So it just felt so empty. I know God has good things in store for us, but sometimes going through the process of what's next it hurts and just plain sucks. So we don't have obviously plans to get any other livestock right now. Normally we'll be getting pigs in the spring. Hopefully we will still do that, but right now we're just kind of playing it one day at a time as what we're going to do. You know, we're kind of just paring things down as much as we can as we see what's next and what God would have for us to do. I'll still be here on YouTube for sure, sharing with you guys. I know that sharing some of that, it was probably a bit heavy, and I honestly have left a lot of things out. I just, you know, I don't need to air all of it. But the one thing I do know in the midst of all of that is that we still want this lifestyle, that God is still good, that He is to be trusted, and that He will provide for us. We have a tremendous amount of peace. I don't know what is going on. There's branches falling, walnuts falling. I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's so much noise. Chickens are making a noise. But truly, without the Lord, I know that this season would have been even harder. But as a family, we're okay. As a couple, we're okay. My kids are doing great. I don't share about them on here or show them that kind of thing, but they're doing good. So I guess that's a little bit of an update. Let me take a drink of coffee. Whew. How much coffee do you drink? I just got buzzed by something. I drink one of these a day. I am currently drinking Cameron's Blue Moon Espresso Roast with organic half and half. No sugar, no flavored creamers. Don't even come at me with your pumpkin spice stuff. I hope you guys have enjoyed this tour. If you have questions, just put them in the comments, and if they're too personal, I'll just tell you. But I do want to share real life things with you about how we do things here. Still going to have plenty of food to preserve from the garden, and also maybe outside of the garden. I am going to be picking up corn soon because I did not grow corn. Maybe we'll go check out the Amish auction together sometime here and see what we can get. I want some grapes. My grape is still not producing, and I want grape jelly, and I want grape juice and all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate you guys joining me on this journey, for watching my videos, for liking and subscribing and sharing. I really, truly appreciate it. I appreciate the messages you send me. You know, you can private message my Facebook page for Browser Family Homestead, or you can email me. All of that thing's in the description below. Until next time, guys, God bless.